Welcome, friends, to the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour with your hosts Sig Bisley and Colt Mauser. Before we get started, please be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content just like this. Now, let the animation appreciation commence.
So no matter what else happens this week, I don't think anything else could possibly excite my emotions more than more new episodes of Aqua Hunger Force.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good news.
You gotta assume the movie did well. I mean, it cost $1 to make, so
Yeah.
getting your money back pretty easy.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to cover it during the news, so, you also got the news that Rick and Morty is essentially dead.
Yeah, well, it was essentially dead in like season 4, but
Yeah.
that's just my opinion.
No, it's going to continue. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, with like no voices.
How the hell is that going to work?
Whatever.
Picture show? Whatever. Pretty dumb.
Not everybody can do his voice. It's like
I don't know if anybody else can do his voice.
because you have to have like very unique vocal cords to do that without killing yourself.
It's too specific. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the rest of the episode. First,
Well, first is news, but
man, you buried the lead. No, second, episodes of the week.
Yep.
Third, we watched the first half of Maniac.
The first third.
Oh, first third.
First third.
Oh, we went over.
Yeah, first third. No, we watched 4 episodes. There's 12.
Oh, wow. Oh, so we didn't go. Yeah.
No.
Sorry, retard math. Anyway, and
Which
then
some episodes have more than one adaptation in them, so I don't want to do too many of them at once because
yeah, there was a bunch that had like 2 shorties.
there's a lot
instead
going
of-
on, so I'd rather dive into it a little bit more. So
Yeah, they all exceeded expectations. And finally, the final installment of the Evangelion movies.
Otherwise known as Razapon.
Yeah, pretty much. I swear to God, more stuff happened at the end. Like that's,
Yeah, so there was, I
like-
remember I said something last night and then I went and looked it up when I got home and went, oh.
was there shit after the credits we didn't watch?
No, but there's stuff that, like, there's like blink and you miss it stuff right at the end where it's like, oh, okay, now I remember.
Okay, I probably wasn't paying attention.
I was paying attention, but it was literally blink and you miss it, so
Okay,
we'll get into it.
because I knew there was more shit there. Anyway, we'll get into it. But first, before anything else, the news.
The news. All right. So, like I said, not going to get into that other stuff we already talked about. So, first thing I'll get off on a tangent on is Amazon laying off most of the Comixology staff.
Yeah, I heard that. Brutal.
It's an interesting bit of news. Amazon's laying off 18,000 plus employees. This is happening across big tech. If you've seen some of the TikTok some of these big tech people put out, I don't want to see people lose jobs that actually are good at their job, but some of these people needed to lose their jobs because they didn't do any actual work.
They're getting rid of fake jobs, basically.
Yeah. Well, when the value of your company is partially based on how much money you spend and how big your payroll is.
Yeah, they just hired people. They hired assistants to assistants to assistants to assistants.
Yeah. To do yoga and drink juice.
Yeah, and did absolutely nothing. So that's how it works. Fake jobs go first.
So I don't know what the future of Comixology is going to be.
Dead.
I'm
That's what the
assuming
future's
it's just
gonna
going to be dead.
Well, there's no comics that anyone actually wants to read on Comixology. so
Ayo.
Eh.
Older stuff maybe. But
that's not even a dunk. That is a fact of life. Yeah, there's probably old stuff.
I've never been much of a digital comics guy, but I do get it. Like,
Gotta get that paper, son.
we need good color e-readers.
Yes, agreed, 100%.
Because I would buy a comic book sized color e-reader
Oh, fuck yes.
to be able to read
If that
comic
was the
books.
thing. I'd probably read so many more comic books.
I would
that way.
too, and only because, look, omnibuses are great, but it's a pain in the ass to hold them,
Oh, God,
right?
yes.
And I'm not going to go search out back
That's why my
issues.
forearm's so huge.
I collect enough things. I don't need to, I have my old comics. I'm not collecting more comics, right?
Yeah.
And, a regular size graphic novel is fine. I mean, I buy those every now and again and read them. But, for the bigger stuff where it's like, hey, I'd love to read some old Spider-Man, like big runs of it. I would love to have it in
Yeah,
digital
there's really
form.
no convenient format.
Because most of the time I like to, it's like manga. Manga's great because it's convenient. And I just rather own it and read it, right? I'd only buy an e-reader.
Manga's a nice small, I like the size book better.
And I'd only do an e-reader for manga if I wanted to read newer stuff, chapters of newer stuff, right? Get a subscription, read the newer
that's
stuff,
true.
right?
Yep.
That would be fine. But collected volumes, I'd rather just own them. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's a bit of an end of an era. Don't know what this means in the long run. Will someone else pick up the comics that were on there, the good ones that people actually wanted to read, the older ones? Because I think they had a lot of older stuff, or at least they used to, like Dark Horse and stuff like that. So
yeah, I don't know. I never got into it.
Yeah. Anyway, bit of a shame, but hey, that's the American comic industry circling the drain once more. Oh no, it's doing great. It's the best.
It's not circling the drain. It's like in the drain. It's in the sewer.
It's calling out from the drain like weekly. Save me.
It's that goldfish that you didn't really want when you were a kid.
Oh my God. Anyway, continuing on. So this is we knew this was happening already, so this is just go check out the bit of media that's come out. Jujutsu Kaisen coming out.
Coming at you.
I believe it's July. I believe it starts early July.
Yeah, I think we already brought this
the next season. Yep, we did. And now there's a preview trailer out, so just a heads up to go check that out. The other bit of news in here is apparently Gigi Gege Akutami says it may actually end in 2023.
Wow.
He may wrap, not the anime, of course,
Yeah,
but the manga may actually end up.
That's fine. I like to keep it tight, concise.
Yeah, I don't even know how many volumes there are, but it seems to be like a Demon Slayer-ish amount, which is fine. Wrap it up. When the story's done, it can be done. That's okay.
I actually like that better.
I do too. I'd rather a creator.
You get that Naruto problem where it just shouldn't have been more.
Yeah, it was like the last arc of Rurouni Kenshin. I don't dislike it, but it is definitely weaker than the rest of Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, things diminish over time.
And it still didn't overstay its welcome.
Except One Piece, sorry.
Well, it still didn't overstay its welcome. And he's going back to it now. I'm fine with that, especially with Japan. Like, let the guy move on and then let somebody else, or let him go work on something else, and then come back to it later if you want, right? Like, do a different arc. Do it later. Do a side story. Do whatever, right?
Do it when you're into it, not just doing it for money. Because then you could always tell in the final product.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Maybe that doesn't matter so much in something like Dragon Ball Z, where it's like, you can kind of just do that forever. It's kind of the schlocky thing.
Yeah.
Or One Piece that actually is one giant story and it somehow works. I don't know. Oda's a goddamn demon. But anyway, go check out that bit out. And
Volume 10,000. This is what I'm going to do.
If you are current on the manga, unfortunately, it may be coming to an end soon. So good or bad as that may be.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right. So another couple bits of news, one at a time here, but both live action adaptations of manga and ones that actually make sense. We're not just trying to adapt One Piece here, which I get why they're trying, but dubious it's going to work. The first one is Kaiji Kawaguchi's Silent Service manga is getting an adaptation at Amazon. Live action, it's going to be in Toho theaters. So it looks like it's going to, it was produced in Japan. It doesn't look like it's got, the corporate fingers of Amazon
There's
in
no
it. So,
tendrils.
Yeah, it's
choking it out.
It's like how Alice in Borderland was pretty good, pretty, spot on.
Yeah, it's going to get made, and then Amazon's just going to buy it.
And that was Netflix work. Exactly, right. So this is pretty cool. It's about, I think, the first Japanese nuclear submarine, and it's, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff anyway, Hunt for October.
I'm an 80s guy.
So this could be cool. I'm actually looking forward to this. It's coming out, I guess it's going to premiere in Toho theaters on September 29th, so figure it might be streaming over here maybe by the holiday season next year.
That would be delightful.
But, yeah, it looks cool. I mean, I don't know that it's confirmed that it's coming out over here, but I would assume it would.
Right?
Yeah.
If Amazon's paying money for it, it's going to come out over here.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. I mean, translation does not cost that much, so they've already bought it. They're going to translate it.
There's like one guy that does it. I'm sure he gets paid.
Yeah, we'll talk about translators later. I got some news on that front.
I got some news.
Yeah. Anyway, so I said 2. The second one, and this one's a little wackier. The Drops of Gold manga is getting adapted. So this and this one's even crazier. One, it's on Apple Plus, or Apple TV Plus, which
so nobody will ever see.
Who has it?
Wah,
But
wah, wah.
It's U.S., French, Japanese co-production.
Whoa. That freaks me out.
And it's about wine, so you can understand why the French would be involved. And it's a crazy story about like someone inheriting. It's a woman inheriting the greatest
vineyard.
collection of wine in the world. No, not a vineyard, like the greatest collection of wine in the world.
A whole cellar.
But then there's a competition with some other guy to actually inherit it. And I don't know. It sounds wacky. So should be cool. This one interests me less than the, submarine one for obvious reasons.
Yep.
But it is intriguing just for the, the co-production aspect, right? Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
French, Japanese, U.S. is pretty cool. So, like you said, it's on Apple TV Plus. So I don't even know how the hell you watch that, but you can find a way, I'm sure. And that is coming out sometime in 2023. It's going to be 8 parts, and it's going to be simulcast worldwide. So, whenever it does come out this year, you will be able to watch it wherever you are at.
Yay.
Well, you won't because it's on Apple TV Plus, but you know what I mean. Soon thereafter, you can sail some seas.
All it takes is one person to have Apple TV Plus, and then everyone else can watch it.
That might be a tough ask. All right, so speaking of things that are going to be airing, theoretically worldwide, NHK World is going to do a documentary this Friday and Saturday coming up. So,
wowzers!
As a time of, hearing this, if you listen to it when it comes out tonight, tomorrow, into January 2023, well, kind of the middle of January 2023, whatever, a documentary on the making of Fist of the North Star.
Oh man,
which is pretty damn cool.
I'd be pretty hyped to watch that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to watch it because I don't know how the hell you watch NHK World either, but
no idea.
Pretty neat. Plus it's on 11:10 and 6:10, like 10 past the hour. That's like that old TBS shit, like 5 past the hour, whatever.
Trying to offset commercials on other networks.
But Fist of the North Star, near and dear to all our hearts, hearts of little children world round, or it should be anyway. And they're doing something for the, I guess it's the 30th anniversary now, which is 30th? No, 40th anniversary. Jesus.
Yeah, I was going to say.
1983 is when it started. Yeah. So anyway, check that out. If you have some way to watch NHK World or a way to access this, there's going to be a documentary out there about Fist of the North Star, which, hey, could all use a little more Fist of the North Star.
I think it's about time for them to reanimate it, sir.
I agree. I mean, Studio David's doing a great job with Yursi Yatsura, but, I could have used...
If it's the 40th anniversary, I don't want to have to wait till the 50th anniversary.
They're almost done adapting JoJo's, and it'll be a while before the rest of that new thing of JoJo's will be out. So squeeze it in, Studio David. Squeeze it in. It makes too much sense. You got to make it happen.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go back and just do the manga, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You deal
Straight
with a
up.
lot less episodes. Things happen way faster.
Yeah, the original was like 152 episodes. You could probably do the whole thing in like 152 episodes.
Or is this a new volume out?
There's up to 7. So I think we only have
I'm
up
only
to 5.
up to 5. So.
Yeah, so there's a couple more to buy. Another order or stop in at ye old Barnes & Noble. Anyway.
Gosh, just drove past there today. It pisses me off.
Whatever. So for you men of culture out there, Chainsaw Man's Makima is getting a majestic figure, a majestic dirty figure. It's not all that dirty, and she looks like she's about to, make you explode. So and not in the happy way, in the your viscera are all over the sidewalk kind of way.
Oh no. He's gonna give you a fear boner.
So it's a 1/8 scale statue, so it's about 9 inches tall. From Artifacts. Expected to ship in July. It's $150. It's going to be available not just in Japan because they have partners overseas, so you can go check it out. And if you're a connoisseur, a man of culture, you too can get yourself this Makima figure. All right. So now we get into the weirder news. So I said I had stuff on translation. I have stuff on translation. So this is kind of a story, a tale of two different situations. One where they're actually trying to do a good job, and the other one where it's a smaller, more niche anime. They don't really care, so they let some social justice translator go off the deep end and screw it up.
Some less qualified translator.
Very less qualified. So Crunchyroll is getting shit for their translation of Onemai, I'm Now Your Sister, where somebody's brother wakes up and is now a middle school age girl. So whatever. It's, like I said, it's a niche kind of thing. And Japan's been doing this kind of stuff forever. The show itself isn't really the problem, but the translation that was done on it removed gendered language.
So it makes no sense.
So yeah, it's harder to understand, and the translations into Spanish and French and whatever else are all fine, but the English translator has admitted to intentionally doing it. So the English translator here, Tomoyo 0810, is just annoying.
What an asshole.
It's just an asshole. Like, I interpret it. It's a bit of a power trip because it's basically like, yeah, well, I changed the translation, but I kept the original meaning. It allowed me to do more of my own thing in it. Like,
you're not supposed to do your own thing.
You're not supposed to do that. Exactly.
Oh,
the arrogance.
That's not your job. If you were good at doing your own thing, that would be your job.
So honestly, your best bet, of course, is always going to be to learn Japanese, something I still haven't gotten around to doing. Even though most anime uses about 5 Japanese words, so it probably wouldn't be that hard.
If there's butt rage about it, somebody will fan sub it and fix it.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
because it'll probably take you, if you speak Japanese, it'll take you like 2 seconds to just add in the correct stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just so dumb, and it's bad. It's just bad. It's some idiot on a power trip. Which, if this were Jujutsu Kaisen, if this were Demon Slayer, no chance, right?
Yeah,
no chance. They're too big. They're not going to let that happen. But these niche products are more susceptible to this kind of stupidity because they're going to pay $5 and a jawbreaker for the translation.
Yep.
And so you kind of expect a translator every now and again to go off the deep end one way or another. So I said
it's not worse actually.
So I said it was a tale of two different situations. I'm going to point to a different one. This is a manga. So Stonebot Comics is doing the translation for the 2014 Kamen Rider Kuga manga.
Nice.
And apparently they did subtitles one way, and I think this is more stylistic than it is the actual subtitles, but they did them one way in their press release when they first did them, and then the actual release they were changed. And I don't, different people did the 2 translations, and it wasn't like one did it worse or anything. It's just, Japanese, there is a lot of interpretation you can do in there. You shouldn't be putting your own spin on it. You should be trying to do your best job.
Yeah.
But there is some leeway there.
A certain level of interpretation.
Yeah. So the Kamen Rider Kuga manga here got released. People bitched about it, and the company says, okay, we heard you. We're going to make it right. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to do it. Because, this is kind of this is a collector's kind of niche product.
Yeah.
And we don't want to piss off the fans we have because it is a niche product. Unlike in the previous case where it's a niche product and Crunchyroll doesn't care because they still have Demon Slayer and everything else, I suppose.
Well, and they're owned by fucking Sony and they super don't care. So
this manga actually looks kind of cool. So I once they make it right, I'm probably going to pick it up.
Oh, Kamen Rider manga are the fucking best.
Yeah, I've been reading the original one. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Ishinomori, baby. That was a cool release. So anyway, Stonebot Comics, good on you for doing the right thing. Crunchyroll, shame on you, acting the way everyone expected you to act, especially
shame on
after
you for doing what you do.
Especially after you got bought by Sony, which somehow became the king of. Oh, well, I know it's not somehow became the king of censorship because they moved headquarters to friggin' California because they're idiots.
Wah, wah, wah.
Maybe they get the hell out of there. It'll be fine. Japan doesn't have much tolerance for that shit. You better make money. So anyway, moving on to the last bit of news, and this is the, I don't know, dumb criminal. Well, clever criminal, but got caught. So dumb criminal of the week. So a former employee of Bandai Namco embezzled 600 million yen
Whoa.
worth of mobile phones, basically.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know exactly how this person pulled it off.
How do you deal with that much product?
It looks
Jesus.
From what I can gather, and there's not a ton of info here, but it looks like they did it from like 2015 to 2022. So they were doing it for 7 years.
Time.
And it looks like what they did is the person had, ordered smartphones, or someone else ordered the smartphones, who knows, for employees. They never made it to the employees, and the guy just sold them.
Yeah,
on his own.
About right. Yeah.
So he basically stole the phones and then sold them. Now,
That's
I don't know.
A lot of work.
I don't know how deep. Again, there's not a lot of details here. I don't know if the person, I don't know if they were involved in ordering the extra ones, or I don't know how the whole scheme worked. I guess we'll maybe find that out eventually, but once it goes to trial. But interesting. Very interesting. A little Goodfellas-ish, Not as good as the Lufthansa heist,
I was gonna say
but
that's some old timey mob shit.
Right? Oh, your phone's broken. What do you mean my phone's broken? Your phone's broken. You need a new one.
Classic.
All right. So interesting scam. Something to be on the lookout for, but 600 million yen is no joke. It's
some good money.
It's $4.6 million in today, because unfortunately the yen is really weak right now. But yeah, interesting bit of news. So that's your crime for the week. That's your smart yet dumb criminal for the week. And with that,
I got away with it for 7 years, pretty good. But if you get caught in the end,
Lupin, he was not.
Crime doesn't pay unless it does.
Crime pays until it doesn't. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the news.
News over. All right, Giant Beasts of Ars. So, Jiro, Kumi, and Maya are in his awesome spaceship that you could pretty much only afford if you were Paladin, apparently.
They got spaceships?
Yeah, he's got this crazy,
nice.
Is it a spaceship? It flies. I don't know that it goes into space. Yeah. It looks like it goes into space.
Yeah, we'll find out.
He hasn't done it yet, but it looks like a spaceship.
Fair enough.
But anyway, they're cruising in this thing, getting out of the kingdom because everybody's after them. And they happen upon a sub-village out in the middle of the woods. It's all like animal people. I mean, not animal people. They got fucking ears. The standard trope. So anyway, Maya, because she's like a cat girl thing.
Yep.
She goes and talks to the village elder, and they want to just hide out for a while. And since Jiro's a beast hunter, you can always use beast hunters, so...
Sure.
They basically...
Although I don't know how low you lay when you're killing beasts. You know what I mean? Someone's going to catch up.
Well, yeah, that comes up. He's just like, I'm not fighting this thing. Later on, he's just like, I'm not fighting this thing because they're going to immediately know. Because plus he's a fucking paladin. So it's like, yeah, once I start glowing, they're going to fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're in there. There's a couple other beast hunters working there. The kid that the story's kind of centered around is trying to train to be a paladin. He wants the other beast hunters in town to train him and blah, blah, blah. So then... Long story short, a giant, apparently the beasts with red eyes are super tough.
Oh, of course.
Just be
that's a trope.
It'll be like a regular beast, but if it has super red eyes, it's I don't know, fucking 3 times fast. Whatever.
That's a classic trope.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it comes up here and there. Anyway, so he's got the regular beast hunter guy is out, and he comes across that, and he's he gets his ass kicked. Everybody's getting their ass kicked. So, Jiro and Kumi have to do their paladin business, and...
That sounds gay, but sure.
Kumi's a chick.
Listen, man, you don't judge these things nowadays.
I'm just saying.
You don't get to judge these things.
Very much a chick.
Straight is gay. Gay is straight.
Actually,
all topsy-turvy.
Actually, that comes up in Revenger, because one of the characters I thought was a chick is actually a boy.
Oh, there you go.
It's little kid style, though, so it almost doesn't count.
Yeah,
anyway,
well, it matters to some weird
they have to do
people.
their business. The kid who wants to train to be a paladin catches them, and then Jiro threatens him.
Yeah,
because they're trying to lay low.
Very Seven Samurai.
But then he saved the kid's life, so the kid's like, "I'm your man for life," and they go back to the village. I guess they're gonna hang out for a while.
Okay.
And he seems like he's gonna be a tag along, I would assume. Part of the gang.
Sure.
So anyway, that was that episode. Good episode. Character building, new characters. It's everything I like still, so I'm not really... I got no bitches. Anyway, Revenger. Revenger was it was the... What the hell's that guy's name? I wrote down. Oh, this is the Soji episode. He's the degenerate gambler that works with them.
A classic character archetype.
Yes, and Neo, the one I thought was a little girl, is actually a boy. It's classic underage androgynous character.
Yeah, sure.
That's probably 30. Who knows?
3,000 years old. Don't worry about it.
He's always murdering people with this stupid yo-yo full of wire that just cuts people's heads off, Garrote style.
That's a I can't remember who had that, but that's a thing.
Oh yeah, I've seen it before. I think that's like a old Hong Kong kung fu movie thing. Like,
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure any trick weapon.
basically. So anyway, it seems like they're just gonna do an episode for every person like in the gang. Or whatever.
That's a classic way to go about it.
So this was like the Jiro episode. Basically, Raizo gets stuck rooming with Jiro. Jiro's just always gambling. And apparently his weapon of choice is like he's Gambit, basically. He has these like little cards that he like whips of his stuff and they like stick in.
Okay.
Except they're like crappy, like hand drawn, like playing cards. It's kind of funny actually. Anyway, they go on a job together. They get to be buds. It's a basic stock
team building
episode.
Yeah, it's like how they did that entire first half of the season of Tiger and Bunny.
Oh yeah, we still got to finish that.
Yeah.
Because I think there's even more of it out now.
Oh, good Lord.
I think they did a whole second.
Oh yeah, there's like 12 more episodes.
Half more. Anyway, so that was that. Not a shit ton happened to that episode. It's like stock character building. Handyman Saito, they finally pulled it all together. Like, there was a bunch more little, like, snippets of, like, new characters and stuff. But then they get to a point where, like, Saito's always, like, thinking he's holding everybody back because he only has, like, basic bitch handyman skills.
Yep.
Which are very handy, apparently. Like, no one can exist without him anymore because he does too much stuff. But, he like, because he can't fight or do magic or any of that shit, you know, he feels like he's inadequate.
Sure.
So, anyway... After there was a few little snippets of introducing new characters and stuff, and then towards the end of the episode, they're in a dungeon or the dungeon. You know how there's always got to be
the dungeon. Yeah, sure. It's
the
like,
dungeon.
Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in the dungeon?
Style,
the
yes.
dungeon, yeah, sure.
Except the dungeon isn't alive like in that.
Yeah,
it's just the
fair
dungeon.
enough.
Anyway, everybody's like the dungeon gets no play anymore because everybody's basically cleaned it out, and like all the adventurers in the area like barely make any money anymore. So anyway. They're dicking around in there, and he, like, finds a whole new section of the dungeon.
That'll make him popular.
So, and at the very end of the episode, like, all the characters that they introduce, plus him and his crew, converge on the dungeon. So I guess that's what the whole rest of the thing's going to be about.
Dungeon.
I didn't read ahead to see what the manga's about, so.
I'd like an actual handyman in a dungeon. That'd be
yeah.
rather handy.
Anyway, so I was wondering, like, what the hell they were doing, because it was all these weird little, like, 5-minute snippets of, like, you know, just disjointed characters. It was kind of interesting, but... So now I guess they're going to go fuck up that dungeon.
Okay.
And then... What was the other one? Oh. That guy.
Trigun. Vash the Stampede.
Every episode reminds me more and more of why I didn't like Trigun the first time. He's just so insufferably frustrating.
Yeah, I like this one better, but okay. So what happens in the episode? So the crazy mad bomber, what bombs at midnight, shows up.
Yeah, basically.
Dr. Bomber or Mad Bomber, whatever the frick his name is.
Yeah, I remember.
And then he's got a different name. He
Super Bomber.
He shows up basically to, I don't know, kill everybody with bombs and steal their plant because everybody's after their plant. I could imagine why. You know, it's the source of power. So if you want to live in the middle of a desert,
it's like a
it creates water and whatever else.
It's like an STC. It just makes everything you need.
Yeah. So he comes to try to steal it, gets stopped, and then Knives shows up.
Yeah, which is bad.
And Knives is a blood tornado.
Yeah, way more ridiculous. Like he's got his friggin', he's like wrapped with knives, like knife tendrils, that
like
just
nano,
like cut everything in half.
Like basically micro nano metal knives.
Yeah, and they just
can turn into armor. They can turn into arms, like Doc Ock. They can turn into weapons. They certainly turn into like chain whips that just tear people to shreds. Like to shreds.
Pretty much anyone that was left alive after the bomber guy just got like cut in half.
Yeah, the town gets completely screwed up. He takes the plants, so they're gone. Some more of his goons show up with that awesome little kid with like the mecha.
Oh, that thing is so cool.
The mecha gorilla, like that thing's awesome.
The designs are so cool. I can't dislike it, even though Vash is irritating.
Yeah, you need to get. I'm hoping Vash gets through that arc quicker.
1,000 people tried to explain to me why they liked the original because it was extremely popular. And I don't know. Everybody's explanation was you just don't get it. And I guess that's basically
There are
what it is.
too many examples where violence actually was the answer.
Yeah, this is like the whole point of the show. It's just like, well, I mean, in the old show, you get towards the end and it's like, wasn't it Knives that was just like, yeah, if you'd killed me ages ago.
It was the guy who worked for Knives.
Yeah, it's like if you had killed me like basically like 12 episodes ago, none of this would have happened and like all these people would still be alive.
Yeah, and he forces him into a situation where he basically has to kill somebody. But
And I guess I get that that's the point of the series, but it's like just watching him like not do his job is so irritating.
he's meek, right? Like it's not even restrained power. It's kind of I guess meek is the wrong word because he doesn't just run away. That's what people say, but that's not really what he does. He certainly has plenty of bravery. It's just dumb. Like
it's a character archetype I just don't understand.
Like you have to understand listen, if you want to be the kind of character that doesn't resort to violence ever, fine, but this isn't a civilized society. Right?
Yeah, like everybody's
problem.
an insane asshole and super dangerous.
Everyone likes to talk about
like,
Gandhi like, yeah, that was civilization. This is not civilization. This is a bunch of people marooned on a freaking
this is like
backwater planet.
It's Mad Max planet, basically.
Yeah, basically Mad Max planet. What do you think is going to happen? Like you can't just whatever. You can't be a complete pacifist on a planet like this.
No, it just doesn't work
just
out.
Not gonna work.
And he keeps getting burned, but then he just like schleps off. Like
people keep dying because of his decisions.
Yeah,
like a lot of people keep dying.
And now
because
he's
of his
just gonna
decisions.
schlep off to the next town to go try to find Knives and not do anything.
And I get it. Like
I don't think he can do shit to Knives.
Yeah,
but not with that gun.
Yeah, I'm sure he can, just because he's got whatever his arm does. Plus, he's got the same. He should have access to the same level of technology, so I'm sure he could figure it out if
one
he needed to.
would hope.
We'll see if he ever does. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like, you shouldn't be the one who stands in judgment of everybody either. Like, who are you to judge who lives and who dies? But that doesn't mean you don't fight. Like,
it would seem that everybody else on the planet has no problem doing
Gandalf
it.
says that stuff, but then he's still killing orcs. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, yeah, it's taken a little too much to the extreme. Again, I hope it moves through that quicker in this one, but I doubt it. That's going to be the killer the whole time. I'm still going to watch it because, like you said, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
But
I'm into it now. I mean,
but damn, I just wish she would. I wish you would integrate his shadow a little better. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, he's kind of a schlub.
Oh,
he used to watch that episode of Mob Psycho.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he did. Only that last episode did he seem to integrate his shadow, because before that he just walled it off, and you saw how that went.
No, that's what I meant. Watch that one episode.
Yeah. Well, that was 4 or 5 episodes, but yes, point taken.
Oh yeah, that was like the whole kind of end.
Oh yeah, it took a while. They really
you got to get that
really
shit under control.
Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, I think that was it. Yeah, that was it.
Sir.
I didn't even watch Your Say Your Sir, and I'm sure it'll be the same stuff. We'll watch it still. If something interesting happens, we'll bring it up. I'm sure at some point there'll be a bit of a serious arc, so we'll see.
Yeah, I know there is the manga.
That's a Rumiko Takahashi kind of thing, and then
it's wacky. Tell it's not.
That other show we were watching about the snowfields, kind of. We gotta catch up on that too.
Oh yeah, we never watched the 3rd episode.
Kind of the snowfields, kind of Princesses of Snow, or whatever the heck
I
it is.
actually like it so far.
I like it so far too, and the CG is just good enough to not be off-putting. So
yeah,
it's not as good as the stuff going on in Trigun, but Trigun obviously got a lot more money, so I can't really blame them. Anyway, that's it. So I think it's time we talk about
Maniac,
Junji Ito. So if you don't know Junji Ito, you need to get out from the rock you live it under. But Junji Ito is a long-standing mangaka who just does primarily short manga, like 20-page stories, and they get collected in different editions. He does have some longer ones that are 2, 3, 4 volumes. I think not Gyo. Gyo was a single volume, pretty much by itself. Tomoe is,
I don't remember how long.
2 or 3. Uzumaki is the one I'm thinking of. Is like
I thought they were animating that.
4 or 5 volumes. I thought so too. They might be, or it might have been animated already. So there's been some on
I
and
think
off.
they've been working on it for like 3 or 4 years.
It might already even be out. There's been on and
I
off.
don't think so.
There's been on and off animation attempts for his stuff.
They were doing it for
throughout the
Toonami,
years.
I think.
Oh, I don't know. You have no info.
Said they were doing it for Toonami.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look into that. But
That's not what we're talking about right now.
we did Gyo, where they botched that. I mean, that
They
animation.
butchered it, yeah.
Oh my god, they changed the story up in ways that made no goddamn sense.
Yeah, it was really pointless because the manga was way better.
It was really a mess.
It was like way tighter. It made way more sense.
So this is a hell of a lot closer to the manga. I mean, it's like the exact
Oh yeah, they're perfect.
shot for shot. I haven't gone back and pulled up the manga and read it again.
From what
to
I
see,
remember,
but
yeah, they're pretty much
it-
shot for shot.
it seems spot on, even with the weirdness. Even when like, well, this isn't an ending. Well, it's over, so too bad,
yeah.
right?
That's what I love about it, though.
That's how Junji Ito works. And I love anthology stuff to begin with, so this is great. Like I said, the start of this episode, we broke them up because there are so many. So first one is the strange Hikizuri siblings, the Seance. So these characters are just annoying. And I think that's the point.
Yeah,
They're meant to be annoying.
They're
It's
all
a-
just weirdos.
It's a family of weirdos whose parents had died, seems somewhat recently. And they're all weirdos.
And they got a huge inheritance.
And the main brother is trying to kind of the head of the family, de facto head of the family, is trying to mac on this girl who already has a boyfriend, but whatever. Who's into the paranormals? Who's like, oh, you can see ghosts at my house, and they go to this house, and she does get some ghost pictures all over the place. But then they're going to do a seance. His other brothers, ooh, let's do a seance. So they do a seance, and the brother, like the other brother, not the head of the household brother, like, oh, I'm your father. And he's like, I got ectoplasm. And it's not ectoplasm. It's just like wheat flour or something
yeah,
that
it's
chewed
just
up.
like nasty shit.
Anyway, the whole thing falls apart. The head of the household brother figures it out, beats the crap out of the other brother. That happens, right? Like, it's just weird. Like,
yeah,
all the characters are weird. The little sister's really annoying and weird. The other sister's just an ogre. I don't know. This one, I have no clue why the hell they picked this one to start off with.
I actually kind of liked that they did because it like eases you into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely my least favorite one of the ones we watched so far.
Yeah.
Just not my thing. It's because it's a little tongue-in-cheek pseudo-comedy, not really like the usual creepiness he's into.
Well, then like at the end, it's
the
like
actual father shows up
a little jump scare
as a
yeah.
ghost, but yeah. I don't know. Anyway, that was the first episode. Animation's great, so it looks awesome. It's really well done. No complaints. So anyway, moving on. Second one is a two-parter. So some of these are, it's two episodes in one. Like I said, it's all anthology style, right?
Yeah.
This one is the story of the mysterious tunnel and the ice cream truck, right? So the story of the mysterious tunnel is just weird as hell. It was a tunnel some kid lost his mother in there when he was a little kid, and now he's, a teenager, or at least,
Yeah.
early teens, whatever. A tweener, that's what I was looking for. And he gets bullied to going back into the tunnel. He finds his sister in the tunnel. The tunnel has this weird allure. People keep going back. Then there's these scientists doing cosmic ray
Analysis
in the tunnel, which is okay, whatever.
Well, I guess the cosmic rays have to pass through the Earth before they can measure them.
Yeah, that
or
makes
some
sense.
shit.
But why this specific tunnel? It's just interesting.
I think they said they do it in just abandoned tunnels all over the place.
They do. But it was just interesting. Like, they were also lured to that specific tunnel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just...
I was just telling you their
It just wasn't that tunnel was especially good. They were lured there. So apparently there's some kind of evil ghost monster, demon, who the hell knows? And it makes you it basically makes you incorporeal as you pass through the ground, except you don't. And just blood shows up, and
yeah, it's really weird.
it's really bad. It throws corpses back at you. It doesn't end well for anybody. It's creepy. It's a cool, creepy little ghost
Yeah,
story.
no, it's a good one.
I like that one. And then Ice Cream Truck is a super creepy story.
Super creepy.
Where There's a new ice cream truck in town that's clearly like run by Satan. Like
Yeah.
it's got like it's the evilest looking ice cream truck. It's so sinister. And all the kids love the ice cream truck. And after they get ice cream, they go on a ride in the ice cream truck, which
is super creepy. That would never fly in
no,
America.
they need better parents.
No one is ever going to let their kids go like take a super creepy fun ride with
On the ice cream truck.
man.
No, that's not happening. Now, even if the ice cream man is like a 20-year-old dude, it doesn't, it wasn't like creepy
Creepy old man.
Oh, I was
Fucking
trying to George,
Ted
Gacy,
Bundy.
Ed Gacy or Gacy, John Wayne Gacy, Jesus
John
Christ.
Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, or Ed Gein or somebody. Yeah, it's not a serial killer. Regardless,
Sorry, I'm not a chick. I'm not obsessed with serial killers.
apparently, by eating the ice cream, so they go into the back of the truck and there's just heaps of ice cream that they eat, but it then turns them into ice cream, and then they turn into piles and eat each other.
It's
Cannibal
fucking-
style,
it's
except they're
super
ice cream.
disturbing.
It's super creepy. So simple enough story, but nice and creepy. That's what I like about Junji Ito.
There's not much to any of the stories. It's just super good execution.
It's good execution. It's a cool idea. He runs with it, and that's why I've always liked his anthologies because they're just
and they're nice and short. Like it's just bam.
yeah.
This
It's a
was-
crazy idea. Where like I don't think this really works that well, but who cares? Because there's another story right now.
Exactly.
Next one is the standout of this first batch, the hanging balloons.
Oh, it's so weird.
One of his ultimate classics. You've probably seen the pictures where it's like people's creepy faces with balloons with a noose on the bottom. Or just a loop, man. Just a loop. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Just stick your head in.
In this case, it's actually a noose. So in this one, like a pop singer or an idol. That's the one I was looking for.
Suicide.
Commits suicide. And then there's this creepy balloon of her face wandering around.
Yeah, it's like a giant, like her head.
Yeah, like her. And then one shows up of her boyfriend. And by giant, I mean like hot air balloon size. Pretty much.
Like big.
And sorry, that's sneeze.
Gesundheit.
One of her boyfriends shows up, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" And eventually, he goes and hangs himself with the balloon. Like he looks like he's hanging himself in a tree, but no, it's really the balloon of his face. And then his face and the balloon of his girlfriend's face, the idol, are like kissing each other. It's all very weird.
Super creepy.
And
With
then-
him hanging from the noose from the balloon.
But then it spreads like a goddamn disease, and now there's balloons of like everybody, and they just basically fly down and snatch you up and kill you.
Yeah, they like hunt you. The second you're not paying attention, they like grab you.
And then one girl
They snatch your ass in a bear trap.
pops the balloon or gets the balloon to pop of hers, like, oh, good, I'm safe now. But then her head melts and deflates like it was the balloon. so that's obviously not going to work either.
Yeah, I don't think anything's gonna work.
And I didn't do the whole framing thing. At the very, very beginning, there was a girl hiding out in a room by herself, right? And then it flashes back, and now it goes back to where she's in the room, and you can see that she's one of the last people in the city, and the balloons are trying to get her. Her balloon is trying to get her. Yeah, so creepy as all hell. Great story. It's got a ton of good build up.
So friggin' weird.
This is a whole episode, so it's it's paced. It's paced
Yeah.
slowly, but in a good way. So creepy. It's awesome. The hanging balloons. Again, it's one of his better, creepier ideas. So glad they did an adaptation of it and did it so well. So again, that's out of these first batch episodes, that one's the standout. All right, so then we get to episode 4, which is another two-parter. This time, The Room with Four Walls and Where the Sandman Lives. So the first one was basically two brothers. One of them is trying to study, and he can't stand noise. And his little brother's like a mischievous little shit, and
He's a complete maniac.
he's a maniac. And he looks creepy. He's making noises and tormenting his brother. So his brother's like, I can't have this. I can't have it in my room. I'm going to beat him up. And then the father's like, well, we'll get a carpenter in here. We'll soundproof your room. They get this weird maniac carpenter who's also like a creepy, he looks kind of like Hisoka. Like he's just a complete weirdo to come and soundproof his room. So he does, it's 4 doors, 4 walls. It's all a little weird.
Yeah, he like quadruple insulated it, so he's basically got this like little tiny room inside of like
Yeah, he had like a normal
5
size
other
room.
rooms or something.
Yeah, so he's got this tiny little cubby now, but there's no sound. But then his brother sneaks between the frickin' walls and is still making noise. So he has to, he goes in between the walls to go find him and deal with him. And I don't know, there's like traps in there.
It's super weird.
It's just really weird. And it doesn't even really have an ending. There's no real
it
point
just goes
at the end.
nowhere. It's just him chasing his brother through the walls, and his brother's a psycho.
It's really weird. There's like a sludge area. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like a weird like friggin' sludge river in the bottom.
I mean, I'm sure the creepy carpenter guy built it for the creepy brother, but I don't get it. It's all very weird. And then there was Where the Sandman Lives. Do you remember anything? I remember almost nothing about that one.
No.
That was the last one. That's where the guy was trying to stay awake. Oh, I do remember that one. That's where the guy was turning inside out. That's what I remember.
Oh yeah. Now that you jogged my memory.
I had forgotten it, but
yeah, because like the girl is like holding his hand, and then she gets like sucked inside of
that
him.
one's pretty good. That one, like,
It's super creepy.
it's kind of like Fight Club. Not to spoil Fight Club, but if you haven't seen Fight Club, what the hell? It's kind of like Fight Club, but instead of like
been out since like 1997.
instead of just
or something.
insomnia, where like you think you're asleep, but you're really awake, and it's a different personality entirely that took over. Oh no. Instead, this guy actually flips inside out.
Yeah.
Like literally inside out, into a different person at night. So he's telling his girlfriend, like, you gotta make sure I don't do this. You gotta make sure I don't flip inside out. And she eventually they go through this, and it partially happens, and she saves him one time, but then eventually she just says the hell with it, and like literally gets pulled inside of him.
Yeah, she thinks like taping her hand or like
Her
duct
hand to
taping her
his.
hand to his hand is going to keep him from going inside out, but it just like sucks her
Pulls
in.
her in, and then she's just like lost in his dream world. I don't know how any of that works,
Very bizarre.
but very bizarre.
Super cool idea.
But that's a very another cool, bizarre one from Ito. So I like that one a lot.
He's such a great idea guy.
Exactly.
Like, where do you come up with this crazy, crazy shit?
It's just bizarre,
Because
right?
even the ones like the one with the 4 walls, or
Yep.
whatever the hell it was called.
Room with 4 walls.
Room with 4 walls, that's what it was.
Yep.
It's like not the most, because it doesn't really go anywhere. It's just weird. But it's such a weird idea that it's fascinating just because of that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But they're all kind of like that. Like, they don't really have any particular. It's almost.
Some of them have there's a bit of a message in there. There's a bit
Yeah,
of an allegory.
it's just they don't have like a traditional like story arc. They're not
No.
constructed like a normal story. Is what I'm
No,
getting
because
at.
they're just
weird
short
little
ghost
snippets.
stories.
Yeah,
They're little
It's a
short
really
ghost
cool
stories.
Idea. I don't know.
Like you tell around the fire, right? Like,
Yeah, I can't get enough of it. Like,
except if someone's telling you those kind of ghost stories around the fire, they're a freaking maniac.
yeah, like
Which is probably why the series is named what it is.
yeah, he is a maniac.
But yeah, great show. Liking it a lot so
Ultra
far.
entertaining. Like,
Yeah.
you will not be disappointed. Just super,
Yeah.
super entertaining.
I don't know why the IMDb ratings on it are so low. I think people are just not cool. Not cool at all.
I don't know. I read most of this manga, so I'm predisposed to I don't know, enjoy
I
it.
just love the wackiness. Like, even when I'm like, even that 4 walls one, it's like, okay, this is
I
a
think
thing.
probably the structure bothers people.
Oh, I'm sure. And just the weirdness and the anthology nature. Like, this isn't telling me a story. This isn't connected. Like, oh god,
It's not supposed to be, man.
it's not supposed to be. It's just cool little interesting stories.
Yeah,
Figure
it's
it
just fun.
This is why we can't have like nice things anymore. So we can't have more Creep Show. I guess we did get there's a series, but I haven't watched it, so whatever.
Whatever.
Doesn't exist.
Don't say it too loud. They'll redo it and it'll be horrible if they haven't already.
Well, it's already a series. So.
Is it new?
Shudder did it.
Oh god. Well, Shudder's like a kind of nobody thing.
Yeah.
I imagine it flew under the radar.
Let's hope.
I don't know. I'll probably be too lazy to ever watch it. So
Yeah, maybe we get bored one of these days.
anyway, Maniac has 8 more episodes. So
Yeah. So we'll do them.
that
We'll
brings-
probably do them 4 at a time because again,
yeah, it's a lot to talk about.
yeah, because there's a lot. I don't want to miss like
There's
what's
so
going
many
on.
of them, man.
I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I mean, if we do the next 4 episodes, it's really 7 because of the half episodes. Interesting. One of the ones, and it won't be next week, but it'll be the week after. They actually did Tomie, like not all of it, just one of the one of the stories.
Yeah, I
So,
knew they'd stuffed it in there
It's
somewhere.
kind of cool.
Pretty cool.
All right, so
Moving on.
moving on to the last thing.
Evangelion
The end.
1.57 times 6 to the third power, 0.3.
3.0 plus 1.01.
That's too difficult.
Thrice Upon a Time.
Just make stuff up.
Yeah. So anyway, last time when we left our intrepid hero, if you could even call him that. Actually, he's been through the ringer.
Our tragic hero.
Poor Shinji. It was him. It was Rei, but not the same Rei, and just a, a different clone of Yui, and oh geez, Asuka. And Asuka.
How can you forget Asuka, the immortal classic?
Listen, man, I'm trying to remember 15 things at once because there's a lot going on in this.
There is a ton of shit going on.
That were kind of left behind on their own. So they go back to a town that's been... So the first impact happened forever ago. We're not going to talk about that. Like Adam and Lilith and whatever come to Earth. Second impact was when it happened in Antarctica and all the oceans turned lifeless and like red like blood.
Everybody likes that.
The near third impact, which I don't know why it's near because it really was third impact. I guess because
it didn't kill everyone.
It wasn't supposed to because the souls got purified next. Or maybe it was supposed to kill everyone. I don't know. We'll call it near third impact because that's what they call it. I
think they stopped him and put him in space jail before he could completely impact.
Yeah, but it seems like the world is mostly... I don't know. I don't know how that works. It's all very complicated.
It's very ambiguous.
Regardless, it purified the land. Now the land's all red. There's like random headless Avas wandering around.
Super creepy.
And
I actually like those designs. It's cool.
Oh, they're definitely cool. There's a lot of cool designs in this. And then there are places where like Willie, whatever, the organization that's opposing Nerve that Masato's running has set up like, I don't know, pylons or whatever that keep the red at bay.
Yeah,
So you can live like normal in there. And Shinji's old buddies are in a village, older now. One's a doctor and one's just like a handyman adventurer or whatever.
Yeah.
So they go back there to wait while Masato and company and Mari and them are... the first thing they do is they take back Paris, but they do that because there's a Nerve...
There's a base there.
Base in Paris, and they need spare parts and stuff. So most of the first half of the movie for them is just restocking and
all that junk.
And all that junk.
Asuka basically dragged Shinji to that town because like he's in an epic funk and they got to kick him out of the funk.
And fourth impact is already starting, so they have to they gotta get him out of the funk. Just because
he's basically the only one that could do anything about it at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean they're trying to stop it, and the message of this whole thing is kind of like the only way out is through. You can't stop it. You just have to.
You got to just go through the whole thing, and
you could change it maybe, but you can't stop it, right? So it goes through. Shinji barely has any dialogue. He's got his existential crisis going on. He's been through a lot of stuff, right? He's just a wreck because he's like, I ruined all these people's lives. I ruined everything. All these people are dead. It's all my fault.
That's a lot of shit to be feeling guilty for.
It's not really his fault. It's really his old man's fault, but
he still physically did it. So,
And honestly, is it his old man's fault, or is it the only way to save humanity is to do the human instrumentality project? Yeah, why did Adam show up in the first place? Like, I don't know.
Astronauts.
So, Shinji gets snapped out of his funk. Mostly by Rei disappearing into LCL because she can't live outside of Nerve, which even the other Rei clones could never live outside of Nerve for too long. They always had to go back in the tank for a while.
Yep. It actually makes sense.
And then they hook back up with Willie to go try to stop Gendo, who's like flying around in the upside down pyramid that is Nerve HQ now.
Yeah, and he's got robot eyes or something.
Not even. He has no eyes.
No, he had a visor at first, but then his face just opens up and he has just a red cross where his eyes were, which is fucking creepy as shit.
It's so creepy. He gets his head blown off and it doesn't even matter. Not blown off, but the back of his head blown out. His brains are everywhere.
He's scooping his brains off the ground, sticking them back in his head.
Apparently he used something called the key of Nebuchadnezzar to not be human anymore.
That always goes well.
He basically operates like an angel or an Ava would. So anyway, they try to stop Gendo. They run into some shenanigans with Fuyutsuki because they have like 3 other ships.
Yeah.
They try to penetrate through apparently now the gate, the door of Guff is open, which now there's an anti-universe beneath our universe. This all gets it's very like Neoplatonic, Kabbalah.
Yeah, they get
some Hermeticism in
they
there.
get
Like
some esoteric horseshit.
it's some very esoteric like Judaism, Christianity, even other than Judaism or Christianity stuff in there. So trying to stop Gendo. As should be obvious by now, clearly the only one who can do it is going to be Shinji. Asuka gets she gets absorbed.
No, she turns into an angel. She pulls that fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, she turns into an angel, but then she gets absorbed, right?
Yeah, like she gets her ass kicked immediately. Just gets like.
Yep. And then Mari's the only one who's still around because apparently, so she absorbs one of the atom vessels and can penetrate. So only Unit 1, Unit 13, which is still there, now Gendo's in it. Unit 1, Unit 13,
which are mostly identical.
which are, very similar. One has 2 pilots, one has 1. One represents hope, one represents despair. Unit 1's hope, Unit 13's despair. And Unit 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 14 or whatever.
Yeah.
The one, she starts absorbing stuff, Mari's Unit 8, and that one can also go through into the anti-universe.
Yeah.
And in the anti-universe, you can't even perceive it. You're not capable of perceiving it, so the LCL fluid just shows you what it wants to show you.
Basically.
So it's crazy. There's like Ava's fighting in, freaking Misato's apartment and like
yeah, it gets wacky.
It gets wild, and they have to exhaust all the spears for some reason. Because then Gendo can.
Well, they exhausted the spears, but then they made.
Well, hold on, I ain't got there yet.
Oh, okay.
So then Gendo starts the Human Instrumentality Project. No one can stop him until they have to make the other spear. So the one spear was like, it was basically like either humanity would become one with God, and this is what Gendo wanted, right? Like we'd lose our individuality, we'd lose our humanity, basically, we'd give it up, but we would be like angels. We would be like God. The other way was basically total annihilation for us, and the angels would keep their place, I guess.
One would think,
and just take over. And then the third way, apparently, is the third way. You get the spear of Gaius, and that spear is like the spear of fuck this. I'm just gonna reset it. I'm gonna get rid of
button.
I'm gonna get rid of it's basically reset button. Like I'm gonna get rid of all Avas, all angels. Fuck all this bullshit. We're just going. I'm cutting out vast swaths of stuff. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of woo-woo, hand-wavy stuff.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, there's a lot to pull apart. Like, it's fun to watch. And
there's a ton
try
of
to
shit
figure
there.
it out.
I could watch it 5 more times before
Yeah.
I really got 100% of all the symbolism and crap like that.
And we'll, I normally I'll say, I won't say any more spoilers, but whatever. Freaking Shinji basically wins. He wins. He resets the world. He Olins the world. He Razafons the world. Because I know we say it all the time, but it's true.
It's the exact ending.
It's the exact, and it really is the exact same. So, you remember last night I said, "Oh, I wonder what happened to everybody else." Like they don't tell you what happens to everybody, but there is a blink and you miss it scene on the train platform when Shinji's looking from his point of view, where you see Asuka and Rei and Kaoru just hanging out.
Yes, because I remember that scene from the first time I watched it, but I must have been, I don't
No,
know.
it was literally blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
It's a 2-second scene and the train goes in the way, and they're way in the background. So
Yeah, okay.
at least he at least saved them. I don't know who he saved and who he couldn't, right? I'm sure Gendo's gone. I don't know about Masato or any of them. No idea. But then him and Mari are older, but not old. They're probably more like the age they should be.
They've got briefcases and jobs.
It's like they aged the way they should
Normally,
have.
yeah.
So they're in their mid to late 20s instead of still looking like children because that's what piloting Ava does.
Yeah.
So Shinji just basically makes a world without Avas, without everything, which is basically just our world, and that's where it ends.
Basically normal.
And that's it. I'm very curious to see what the hell other stuff they're going to add in 1.11. Definitely going to pick that up.
Because we were just talking about that. Yeah.
Definitely going to check out that prequel when it comes out, too. I mean, it should be on the Blu-ray, so definitely going to check it out. Anyway, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. After waiting like 20 years for it to finish, pretty happy.
Yeah, I really, watching these movies again, I like them even more the second time.
Yes. These will be like a rewatch every couple of years or so.
Yeah, for sure.
Just because like they're so good and there's so much shit to pick apart, especially that last movie. Like there's a lot to dig at.
Yeah, there's a lot of occult stuff going on in there. And, I'm sure it's a little more than just window dressing because it does seem to follow some of the rules.
Well, originally it was window dressing,
Yes.
and I was like very satisfied in how much he like really dug in. Even if it is just window dressing, it's like way more involved and way more interesting.
It's way better executed window dressing.
Oh
but
yeah, definitely.
I think it's a little more than that. I mean, it definitely follows
a lot of
those
it's tied
principles.
together at least a little bit, which is nice.
It's got some of those, hermetic principles. It's got like we got to unite like man and woman to become one entity, to become one with God, and it's got a lot of that stuff going on in it. Definitely, if you watch it or if you've seen it and you're going to rewatch it, watch a couple YouTube videos or read up a little bit on some of that esoteric.
Yeah, it
stuff.
makes a lot more sense if you like know
Neoplatonism, the
like
Kabbalah,
Hermeticism,
Gnosticism, like just get a little flavor for that because they definitely use a lot of that here. It's not just, where the original was kind of just, surface level Bible.
Yeah, he took a bunch of stuff that looked cool. And
This is this is the deep, like, occult, esoteric.
Yeah, they get way into it. So
stuff. So
very interesting.
Very cool. I can't say enough good about it. This one, the other thing is this one definitely dials back. Like the animation's very good, but it dials back from that trigger style a little bit.
Yeah, it was like a little jarring in the third one.
Yeah, the third one was definitely the most. If the animation style in the third one was like this one, and the last one was like the third one, I think it would have been an obvious progression. But it kind of spikes and comes back down.
Yeah, no, I really like that what they did in that last.
But
episode.
that could be intentional too. Again, because you're like Shinji, right? You come out of your space prison and you're
everything's
shocked
different.
and awed.
I think they like kind of did that on purpose, and it did really work because it's like, what is this crazy ship? Why is everything lighting up?
Yeah,
like why is everything crazy? They did a really good job pacing this one because there's a lot of like not action.
Yeah, and it's long, but they did a good job.
But it was like really important, like to the story. You know what I mean? You had to have all that stuff. So I mean,
yeah, I can see how it could have originally been 5 movies.
Yes. Oh, it's definitely not.
Because I think it was planned for that, and that makes sense because with the prequel stuff that they set aside for 3, this is the prequel to 3.33, if you added that back in, you could have cut that one shorter. The first part of this and the last half of 3.3 could have been a movie, and then this could have been, if they would have kept them an hour and a half, hour and 45, you could have easily.
Yeah, because that's that whole section where like, how did they get Shinji in space jail? Like, cleaning up after the third-ish impact.
Yeah, Kaiji just dies off screen basically.
Yeah, like so I assume that they have that all worked out, and they just weren't allowed to do it because he takes fucking forever.
He didn't have
to
the
do
money.
anything.
He did Shin Godzilla in the middle. Like, it is what it is.
But it's not. You don't necessarily need any of that stuff because it probably would have been, like you said last week, it would have.
You don't really need
been
it,
kind of disjointed.
But this movie's 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. Like, if you picked it apart the way I just suggested, I don't know if you reassembled it if it would actually pace right. I don't know if it would work right. I don't know if the narrative structure would work right.
Yeah.
Because the narrative structure of all the movies makes sense and it works. I mean, the first 2 are kind of easy. But for the third one and the fourth one, they work, right?
Well, it actually, like we said last week, too, it works really good, not having that stuff in there because then you come at it the way Shinji comes at it, not knowing anything.
Yeah.
And it's a way more interesting story. It's like, what is all this shit? Why was I in space jail?
You could flashback that stuff in later.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's how you could still do it, right? But they don't do a lot of that. Now, they could still re-add it. Who knows?
No, but the idea of just adding it in like, just make another movie later that's like that section.
Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah, so who knows?
Because once you've already seen it, you don't need the impact of like not knowing. Once you know what's going on, you know what's going on. So.
They're going to keep milking these, and I get it. A lot of people think this is just a cash grab. A lot of people hate it. They hate these movies. I never thought Evangelion had a satisfying ending, so I love these movies because they give me a better ending.
It had no ending. It wasn't even unsatisfying. It was just nothing.
The original had no ending. The original. The end of Evangelion is an ending. That's an ending. It's not a good ending, but it's an ending.
It's still pretty stupid.
I mean, LCL, him and Asuka are alive. Who knows who else is alive? The end. Right? Like, it's at least an ending. This has bits of that in it, too. This has bits of the end of Evangelion.
Oh, yeah, when they're sitting on the beach.
This has reference to it, for sure. But it's much better. It's just much better put together. Much better explained. It's just better, period.
Yeah, I didn't... Like I said before, a lot of people... When it was super ambiguous, a lot of people just stuck what they wanted in there, you know what I mean? And, like, the movies are not ambiguous at all, so you can't just, like, stick whatever crap you want in there. Like, I think they meant this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't need to stick weird shit in there. I'm very satisfied with, an actual real ending, so... Nope, pretty happy. That'll go in the rotation.
Yeah,
as soon as they give me my damn Blu-ray box set.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah,
Fuck that 4K box set.
I am into it. I can't wait for Shin Kamen Rider to come out this year.
Yes.
We liked Shin Ultraman. Shin Ultraman was good. I love Shin Godzilla.
I love the tone of Shin Ultraman.
Oh,
it was just so
they
wacky
nailed it.
And so fun.
They nailed it. Like they really did that one right.
Tongue-in-cheek comedy. It was great.
So yeah.
Anyway, that's about all I got today. Oh man, this chair kills my back. I'm so old.
That's what happens.
So as usual, have a fantastic week. Let's see. Don't trust the government. Oh, TikTok is a Chinese psyop. Do not fuck with that thing.
Yep.
NFTs are still a scam.
Yep.
And we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Well, that's all for today, everyone. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning into another episode of the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour. Please remember to like and subscribe, and may your entertainment be always, well, entertaining.